Know Your Candidate. Presented by Portland is Possible, broadcasted by XRAY FM. In this segment, we offer a brief background on the visionary candidates that are proudly standing and running for the acclaimed Portland Area City Council. For now, we have a candidate of District 3 that incorporates Montevilla, Belmont, and Hawthorne neighborhoods.
My name is Tiffany Koyama Lane. My pronouns are she, her, and I am running for the new Portland City Council in District 3.
The city center from inner southeast to inner southwest and the Albina district to south waterfront is the economic engine, not just for Portland, but for the state as a whole. In particular, taxes from this area support critical services statewide. How should the city council engage in keeping this engine running?
Yeah, so it's not a secret. There are a lot of empty buildings and a lot of vacant lots. We need to reimagine those spaces. COVID has changed things. I don't think that these buildings downtown are going to magically be filled with a bunch of people Zooming from their computers. Things have changed and we have to change and adapt to that. So we do have a lot of space. How can we be reimagining those spaces? How can we think about what we love about Portland and think about what we want to see in those spaces? Can we be supporting small businesses to fill some of that space? Community organizations, preschools. We have to be able to think creatively and think outside the box and not necessarily just try to make things go back to how they were at one point. I also want to name that there are amazing spaces in downtown, in the inner southeast city center. I think about Powell's Bookstore. It's always teeming with people. I think about the new food cart plaza that opened up nearby. Whenever I go to the Midtown Beer Garden, I see a lot of people out and about. So let's think about those places and what's making them successful. We also do need to have public spaces where you don't necessarily have to spend money. And you can just go and just enjoy our beautiful city. When you have more people out and about, it will just bring more people, and it is better for everyone.
What other city is getting public art right?
When you think about the beloved cities in the world, they are cities that people go to because they want to see the public art. And I want to uplift something cool that Milwaukee is doing, I just learned about, and they are using some of their public art to also help fight the problems of reckless driving. And as someone who just lives a few blocks from where Jeannie Diaz was sitting at the bus stop after a long day working as the children's librarian at the Belmont Library and was hit by a reckless driver, art with a purpose, public art with a purpose like that is really near and dear to my heart.
In 30 years, how do you see the average Portlander getting where they need to be in town?
I see the average Portlander riding their bike, using public transit, doing what I do each day when I go to my third grade classroom, which is I ride my Razor scooter with my shiny gold helmet. And a part of that is making sure that folks feel safer doing that. My own two boys and their dad bike to school each day. And there are times that does feel scary. The more that we invest in making sure that our streets are safe and that people feel safe taking public transit, the more likely that vision can come true. And I want to shout out the Streetcar Ambassador Program, where they have unarmed community members who are there to make people feel a bit safer on the streetcar. I think that's something that we can be thinking about for all of TriMet.
As a city councilor, who would you go to first when looking for ideas and insights for developing a vision for the city's future?
I am a community organizer at heart, and I know that it's really important to always go to the folks who are most acutely affected by issues, the folks who are the most vulnerable community members. So when I think about housing, I'm going to think about those who have experienced houselessness. I'm going to think about those who are working the really hard job of being housing navigators for those in our city. So I will always go to the folks that are the most vulnerable and the folks that have over time been supporting those people also in our community.
100 years ago, Portland leaders established the Bull Run Reservoir to safekeep clean drinking water for future generations. What is one thing Portland should be doing now for future generations?
We need to be really serious about tackling the CEI hubs in our area, something I've been learning a lot more about recently, and it is a really big deal. We are one natural disaster, one earthquake away from these giant tanks being extremely hazardous and dangerous to our community. So that is something that we need to be really serious about dealing with. There are important groups like Tank the Tanks and 350 PDX who have taught me a lot about this important issue that we need to focus on.
Lightning round. What place in town that more people should know about?
More people should know about the amazing Bite on Belmont food carts that has a wonderful mix of a lot of great food carts. I love all of them. My children love to get mac and cheese from Herb's Mac and Cheese, and I personally always love getting Thai food from Emma.
What events or place in Portland that no longer exists do you wish you could bring back?
I wish I could bring back the Alder food cart pod that is now...
What's the most Portlandy thing you have seen this week?
I've gotten to see some of the amazing public art, the Coraline cats around Portland, and they are lovely and so Portlandy.
If you could wave a magic wand to make one thing happen in Portland, what would you do?
I would give every child swimming lessons without anyone having to go through the wild system of trying to register their children for them. Because it's harder to get a Taylor Swift concert ticket than it is to get swim lessons for your children in Portland at times.
Would you describe Portland as more grunge, more jazz, or more indie pop?
This one's tricky. I want to say a mix. If I had to pick, I would pick like funky jazz.
So now you know your candidate, or a bit about them. We like to thank the visionary candidates, also like to especially thank all the volunteers and organizations that put this together. We couldn't do this without you. To look at each candidate, be a good Portland citizen, and to be a dashing and informed voter, listen to XRAY FM to learn about ballots and the new ranked choice voting system. And check out portlandpossible.org.